Welcome everybody. This is the Microsoft 365 and Power Platform, a weekly community call with Microsoft presenters. And this basically means that you will hear the latest and greatest from the Microsoft people, meaning the feature PMs, the cloud advocates, the engineers, and so on. So the people who actually built the features and capabilities or are responsible of driving adoption for them. My name is Vesa Juvonen. I'm a principal product manager in Microsoft 365 community areas and open source areas, and working closely, of course, with our Power Platform friends, because it's a one big family in Microsoft for sure. Today is February 4th, and let's actually go to the agenda of today. Now, we do have an unfortunate change on the agenda. Mark Windle woke up this morning and actually is unfortunately sick. So that came a pretty last minute warning, and I didn't have any good ad hoc demos in my back pocket. So what we're going to do today is not cover the SharePoint embedded on the demo section, but I will actually talk a bit about other stuff and show a few kind of a semi-live demos before we go to the Paolo's actual demo of today, which is going to be really cool as well. So getting started with the Copilot Studio Agent Builder in Microsoft 365 Copilot. So Paul is going to walk through what's the difference between that and SharePoint agents, and what about the Copilot Studio, and also what about the custom engine agents, because there's a lot of different options available on the agents. So it's good to understand what are the limits and capabilities for each one of them. Now, Mark will be rescheduled on this one, or he will be definitely back within the March timeframe. But I think he was already indicating that he might be actually getting a slot on the upcoming weeks, where we should have one more June slots in the February. We're getting a lot of interest from Microsoft side on the Tuesday call, so we'll have definitely more also Power Platform topics coming up on the agenda. I think next week we'll have 2 Power Platform stuff coming in here. Now, before we go to the demo section, again, we're going to go through latest updates and the news from Microsoft and Power Platform, just to recap some of the slides which you might have seen in the past, but it's super important. Always cover those and repeat those, because there's always new people in the call. So we want to welcome all of the new community members and all of the new people in the call who have never been here, and then we want to make sure that they're aware of those assets as well. I will also show a few things again extra today, again before we go to the together mode and the actual demo of today. We might close a bit earlier today, but we'll see how it goes depending on the time, and maybe we'll have a Q&A, live Q&A in the end. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, few assets which are available for you to take advantage. First of all, the Microsoft Community Learning YouTube video channel, and all of the community call recordings, including this one, will be released there and are released there on a daily basis. We do publish at least one video within every single business day in that channel. On average, it's actually much more than that. So typically, it's roughly 14, 15, 16 videos in a week, which is a lot of content, and we do understand that. But we actually want to make sure that we share the content for you, so it's available for you, rather than optimizing on YouTube algorithms and all of that. That's not relevant for us. We want to make sure that you have access on the information. When you use Google or Bing or whatever you're using, you will find those videos, which are hopefully helping you to succeed within your day-to-day work. We do have our LinkedIn channel and our group for discussions and updates, a great way to stay up to date on what's happening. For example, agendas and all of that stuff are getting published there. We have open source assets, but as it might be a bit difficult to find a relevant sample or code snippet from all of the different samples which are available directly from GitHub, we do have the sample galleries, which are aggregating information from GitHub to make it easier for you to find a relevant sample for you. And all of this URL, they're under AKMS Community Home URL address. That's a one URL where you find all of them. Now, technically, I will call this out. If you go community.ms, that will actually redirect to that one location as well. But I think we've been doing so many years already at AKMS Community Home, so we don't want to change that. Let's see if we actually adjust that at some point. Now, we do have a lot of these community calls. This is the Tuesday 8 a.m. Pacific time, which is happening every single Tuesday Pacific time 8 a.m., where we have the Microsoft presenters and Microsoft speakers on this call. And then on top of this, we do have Power Platform monthly community call with community speakers, a really important part of the story as well. We want you and our community members to show what they built on. So rather than us just telling what we think the feature are for and how it might be used, we actually also, Microsoft employees, will learn a lot from customers and partners and MVP showing for us how did they actually build stuff and how did they use those features. Office Admins monthly community call happens once a month as well. Pretty logical. It's a monthly community call that happens once a month. Oh, that's mind-boggling. And then we do have our 7 a.m. Pacific Thursday series, which is either Microsoft 365 and Power Platform community call, which happens bi-weekly, or the Viva Connection SharePoint Framework bi-weekly. So every single week, it's either one of those at 7 a.m. Thursday, and we do that call every single week. So we haven't canceled that call, I think, since we started the 7 a.m. series weekly thing. So that goes all the way throughout the year. There's always somebody there to have a discussion on Thursdays at 7 a.m. Pacific time. You can download all of the recurrent invites at the AKMS community course URL, where you find all of the details and timings and all of that. And you can always get the agendas and all of the details around this course at AKMS and Meetup. So that is one really nice service. If you want to subscribe there, whenever we publish the agenda for upcoming calls, you will actually get an email which is sharing you, hey, next week, this is the call schedule, and this is the event and information which is getting shared within this call. So that's a great, pretty cool service, and it's free for you to subscribe as well. Now, we did mention that a lot of these calls do welcome community demos, and this is an option for you, for every single one of you within this call. So if you're looking into getting into the presentation, if you're an MVP and you want to actually let's say get renew points or get renew topics, because when you're MVP, you're supposed to actually promote things. These calls are a great opportunity to do that. Or if you want to be an MVP, and this is a great way of actually getting those presentation topics and impact to be listed within the contributions. AKMS community request demo is the form to fill in. The only thing is we don't want to have product demos, because this is not about your products and selling the products. This is about learning from others. Open source stuff doesn't have to be open source. Learning from others about capabilities. And it doesn't have to be rocket science. So super important thing, if you are showing getting started on something new, those are actually the most viewed videos quite often. And people actually want to understand how to do X and Y and Z as in getting started capabilities. So it doesn't have to be rocket science. Don't overthink things. There's always a new ways of explaining the basic scenarios as well, which is incredibly important. There's always new people within this course as well who don't know, for example, what is a Power App and where do I get access on them, as an example. So simple example. So don't overthink these things as well. Now, we do have a lot of material available in the learn.microsoft.com on different training modules and training paths. So this is a great option and free option for you to get started on learning how to do Power Platform solutions and AI solution and AI Studio solutions and M365 Copilot stuff and SharePoint Framework stuff and all of that stuff. All of those things are available at learn.microsoft.com. Now, we also have our sample gallery, great location. We kind of touched this already in the intro section, but there's already more than 2,300 samples from Microsoft and community in a one centralized location. So again, rather than asking you to find this relevant repo and the sample folder and all of that in the thousands and thousands and thousands of repositories in a GitHub, we want to make it super easy for you. So you go AKMS community samples, you can find the relevant sample for you, and that then links to the GitHub repo where the information actually is. So super approachable location to hopefully find inspiration, ideas, and get you unblocked on whatever you're actually building in Microsoft 365 or Power Platform. Once you find the sample, you might be wondering on, hey, this is in GitHub. I'm not sure how to get started in GitHub. Or you might be wondering on, I would like to contribute my cool sample for here as well. So everybody can benefit out of this. This is where Sharing is Caring initiative is going to help you to get started. And directly from LA Studios, here's David Warner.
Vesa Juvonen, thank you so much. Welcome to Los Angeles, the home of the Grammys, where we got plenty of time today. So we're going to start out with a little emotional song. I'm just kidding, everybody. We are going to talk about Sharing is Caring because we love to help each other. And that's what Sharing is Caring is for. And we appreciate your patience. We're getting things scheduled. There's just been a little bit of scheduling conflicts with Hugo and I. We've had some personal things, but we're bringing in some more people to help. So we're excited for that. And you may be wondering, okay, get to it, David. What is Sharing is Caring if you're new here? Well, it is a program that provides hands-on guidance like Vesa said. So If you want to submit a sample, you want to use a sample, maybe you want to better understand the technology around the samples. These sessions are live. They include hands-on opportunities, collaborative sessions. They're not recorded, so it's a safe space to ask any and all questions that you're always worried about thinking, does somebody already know the answer to this? Should I be asking this question? No one else is asking this question. We all do it. I do it. Everybody does it. But we don't have to worry about it when it's not recorded because it is a safe space. And it's a great way to work with the rest of the community and make some new friends and geek out with those that are like-minded about the passionate that we all have around the technology. So we are going to get those GitHub sessions scheduled, the contributor sessions. We've also got the maturity model practitioners you can always take a look at. And we're going to start getting in some more practical sessions around tactical things like responsive power apps and component libraries. They just put into preview the new enhanced properties, which is awesome. So definitely be on the lookout for some of those. Appreciate your patience. And again, we'll have some other topics, some other friends coming in to help out. And so we are excited for that. So check it out, ak.ms/sharing is caring. And then once you do contribute to the community, we want to recognize you for the amazing work that you are doing, which is where our community recognition program comes in. This program is one of my favorites because it is recognizing in a formal and official way all the amazing work that you all are doing in the community. And so you see that these badges are powered by Credly. They are official. They are accredited. You can associate them to your LinkedIn profile, put them on your blog, put them on your resume. And why does that matter? It's because they actually show you are making a difference. And in this competitive world, we need that edge. Shows your managers why you deserve that raise. Shows your clients why you deserve that project because you are involved making a difference and keeping up to date. And we've got a lot of new badges that are available recently. So things like the Prompt Pro, the Snippet Sorcerer. We've got 2 event badges there. You just are maybe seeing it for the first time. The Powerful Devs Hack Together that's coming up in February. And the SharePoint Hackathon. This is the world release of that badge. So excited to show that off. Super excited. I think Vess is going to talk a little bit more about that in a moment. But we do need you to opt in. It is absolutely free, no cost at all. Credly is a business. They charge money, but we pay for it. And you do not have to. So it's our way of saying thank you for all of the wonderful things that you are doing. So check it out, ak.ms/community/recognition. Do need you to opt in. Only need to do that once, though. Once, forever, and ever, and ever. And we will track all the amazing work that you're doing. So thank you, everybody. Be on the lookout for some more badges coming out and some more themes. We're working on some fun spring and winter and other events. So check it out. Vesa, back to you in the Finland studios.
Excellent. Thank you, LA, on that one. Helsinki taking over. So let's talk about those hackathons which are coming up. So super important thing. Powerful Devs is happening. First the conference, online conference, and then the Hack Together is happening on February 12th to 28th. Now, I'm going to actually jump in here, and just that we're not missing that one out, I'm going to actually jump on directly into Powerful Devs thing. If you go AKMS Powerful Devs is the address, and the URL is actually David put it in the chat as well, and you can actually find the latest details around the Powerful Devs conference. You can register, you can hack together. If you go to the Hack Together, you will find more details about the hackathon, all of the different options, official rules, and if I go forward in here, we can actually see that it's a GitHub repo. So this is a model that we're going to use for hackathons this spring. So you can basically get support, you can register, get details directly from GitHub around all of these hackathons. Now, Powerful Devs happening again on February 12th to 28th as the conference and the Hack Together as a step number 1. Now, the step number 2 and the next hackathon is actually happening on March 3rd to 17th, and this is a SharePoint hackathon. So this is something what we actually shared to our Jeff Teeper, who's the CVP, I think he's president actually nowadays, and Microsoft shared on the last week's on the SharePoint event. So this is coming up on March 3rd to 17th. If we have a look on bit about this one, it's a bit different than just the Powerful Devs hackathon or a typical hackathon, because we actually want everybody to be able to participate. And what we mean with that one is that this hackathon is also for out-of-the-box features. So if you're building a cool-looking SharePoint portal, page or a site, you can actually submit that one. So just creating a video about the design, what you created, and then submit that as a hack for the things, and you will get a badge, and we will actually share more details about all of the awards a bit later. We are also doing a hackathons on different other topics. Let me actually scroll down a bit on the different categories, which is most creative use of SharePoint agent is the number 1 category. Number 2 category is most beautiful intranet homepage. Could be a site page. It doesn't have to be really a SharePoint portal page. There's multiple options over there. And then let me actually find oh, not text. I'm just trying to find a different color. Oh, fine. I will do blue. Most useful Viva Connection dashboard. So if you're more looking on the Viva Connection and you build those dashboards, you can use the Viva Connection card designers to actually create beautiful dashboards and submit that one. And then the last one there is the most creative intranet with extensibility. So it doesn't have to be customization. It doesn't have to be developer stuff. It can be most creative use of SharePoint agents, which is a really good example of how you can submit something which is not about development necessarily. So really, really cool option for anybody to actually start thinking on what we can do with all of these new capabilities, which we have also available in SharePoint, or in Viva Connection, or with SPFX. So a lot of opportunities in here. Again, this hackathon is happening from March 3rd to 17th, 2025. We will get a bit more details on the registration and awards on that one in upcoming week or so. The Power Hack thing is already fully, all of the details on that one is already available within GitHub. Now, on other events, there is a Microsoft 365 community conference event happening in May 6th to 8th at Las Vegas. There's going to be a pre-workshop conference workshops and post-workshops on this one as well. The program looks really, really cool. We are just finalizing the Microsoft presenters in this conference, and those is going to be published, I think, this week or next week on the website. So you will get more details on who are the Microsoft presenters there as well, on top of those Microsoft presenters which have been already released on the website. Now, there's also the European Collaboration Summit happening in May 26th to 28th of May, and this is a combination of 3 different conferences as a one community. So European Collaboration Summit, European AI Cloud Summit, and European BizApp Summit happening during the 26th to 28th of May. Great. A big conference in this side of the pond if you are in Europe side. TechCon 365 happening Seattle, Atlanta, and Dallas, June, August, and November. Great opportunity on US side of the pond to participate and meet up other people in the community. And then we have the Power Platform Community Conference coming up on MGM Las Vegas as well in October 28th to 13th. Great option as well. And then as a final thing for the rest of the year, or the final conference of the year, a bigger one is the ESBC happening in Dublin this time on 1st to 4th of December 2025. Great venue. We've been there in the past as well for ESBC, and it's a beautiful city as well. On top of these big conferences, there's a lot of smaller conferences happening, and all of these conferences, you can always go to communitydays.org. You can find conferences all around the world, from San Jose, Costa Rica, to Dubai, to Cameroon, to New Zealand. So there's a lot of conferences all around the world. So please take advantage of these. Some of these are free. Some of them might be virtual. Some of them might have a small cost, but that's only to cover the cost of organizing things. So if you go to communitydays.org, you will find all of the details on the conferences from there. Now, a quick update on the weekly news, which is happening in the Microsoft side. So this is a quick collection, and thank you, David, for copying the news in the chat as well. Quick collection on all of the different news, latest blog posts happening in the Copilot, in Microsoft Teams, in SharePoint, in Power Platform, or in development, as a one quick recap. Nothing too special this time, except I want to call out the last week's SharePoint event. So if you are on the SharePoint and Microsoft 365 side, there was a lot of cool stuff what Jeff Deeper and the team was actually sharing on the 29th of January event. All of that is recorded. All of that is available in the YouTube channel, in the community YouTube channel at AKMS Community YouTube URL, AKMS/community/YouTube, and you'll find all of those videos from there. Also, we do have Copilot prompts still ongoing and will be ongoing. So this is probably the easiest way to actually get started on contributing. So we're not looking into getting samples as a code. Just contributing a prompt in a GitHub is one way of contributing for the community, which, by the way, qualifies as your contribution. So you can actually then get qualified as a badge to contribute for the community as well. On this location, AKMS PMP prompt library, you will actually find a lot of different prompts which are available. And because we do have time a bit today, let me actually show you this in practice. So first of all, there's 2 ways of accessing all of those prompt things. You can either go to the AKMS PMP prompt library, and let me click that one. And we can access the GitHub location directly under the BMP GitHub organization. And from here, we can actually find samples folder, and there's a lot of different samples available. Now, as it might be a bit difficult to find the relevant sample for you, you can actually go to the sample gallery side, and then in here, you can actually start filtering things down. So I can say Microsoft 365 Copilot, I can say something like prompt, and it will actually filter down all of the different options, what it's actually showing for you. Something, what would have been actually a nice example for here, for example, generate decoration meal ideally for company party. Why not actually? That's an interesting prompt. I can actually find the prompt from here. I can click from GitHub, and it will redirect me directly to the GitHub location where the actual prompt exists, and I can copy that and start using that within my Copilot or within any of the experiences. Of course, this prompt do work definitely also in ChatGPT, especially this kind of a prompt. But then for a lot of these things where we are actually accessing information which is relevant for you, they only work in a Copilot because the Copilot has access on your company and work information and files and all of that stuff. So a lot of interesting prompts available. For example, create a detailed agenda for my upcoming meeting. So a lot of different options to be more efficient with Copilot. This is super cool way of sharing your prompts with other people in the community. So please do take advantage of that. Now, related on that one, the prompt of the week on the contribution side is coming from Rich Medling, and it's around Power Platform. So if you are using this, if you're implementing something in Power Platform, for example, a Power Automate has a random exception, you can use the Copilot to help you to resolve those kind of exceptions. So a really good example of using Copilot and getting the information about your exceptions and errors. So I'd like you to act as a Power Platform developer. By the way, good practice. Set the scene for the Copilot. So what is the role of the Copilot? Can you analyze the following error I received from Power Automate in Flow? Copy the error in here. Please provide explanation of the error and any recommendation how the flow can be fixed. A really simple thing, but incredibly valuable to get some results and input directly from Copilot. So rather than going to the Google, Bing, whatever is your chosen search engine, definitely worthwhile to checking Copilot can probably answer that question and the error description quite efficiently. So super cool option as well. Cool. Now, before we go to the demo of the day, because we unfortunately had the one cancellation, let's do a quick group photo. So let's see if we can actually get this one working today. Let's see how this actually works. I will enable the cameras. I will put in here. I wanna go and change the scene because I don't wanna use always the same one. Let's go to the green one. The green one is good, and we are pixel perfect. So let me go to the Camtasia recorder, and Camtasia recorder is starting. Where's my Camtasia recorder? Camtasia. There you are. Okay, cool. So that's waiting in there. Let's wait a few more seconds. I will actually enable my camera as well. So let's see if I can get somewhere in here. I'm waving my hands. There I am, right next to Casper. That side. There we go. Few more seconds. I can see April. I can see David. I can see Peter Paul. I can see a lot of familiar Shao in the front row. Okay, I guess we're good. Let's start recording, and we'll grab a GIF animation out of that and share that in the social media. 3, 2, 1. Let's do some hand waving. Thank you everybody for joining. Awesome to have you on a call. Excellent. Brilliant to have the smiling faces always in here. Even though we are doing this virtually, this is a great few seconds to actually see the other people in the call. So thank you for being here, and see you in social media. See the capturing in social media after the call as well. Cool. Let me actually get rid of that. And Todd was still waving. Yes, Todd, I can still see you there. Excellent. Now let's then go to the actual demos or demo of the day. So as we started, some of you might actually join a bit late. We had a unfortunate last-minute cancellation for Mark. So Mark is actually fell sick last night or this morning, so he could actually not join us. So we're rescheduling him with the latest on SharePoint embedded stories. But we do have the awesome Paolo Pialorsi, one of the newest Microsoft employees, previously an MVP, who's going to talk about Copilot Studio Agent Builder in Microsoft 365 Copilot. So what is it? What we can do with that? What are the options? And Paolo, I can see you on a call. I think it's cool for you to start sharing. I can see the slides. This is good.
Okay, hopefully you can hear my voice as well.
And I can hear you as well. We are all good. Take it away.
Wonderful. So thank you, Vesa. And yes, let's talk about how we can start creating agents with Copilot Studio Agent Builder in Microsoft 365 Copilot. So let's dig into the actual content, and let's start understanding what an agent is. So an agent basically is an intelligent assistant that we can use in Microsoft 365 Copilot, and actually not only Microsoft 365 Copilot, but I would say mainly in Microsoft 365 Copilot, and which is useful to optimize the user experience and to provide content in a specific scenario for a specific role, for a specific department of your company, so that you can better target the needs of your users and provide better answers to your users through the UI of Copilot. With an agent, you can also automate and execute business processes for your end users. And overall, it allows you to have a good integration with all of the processes and workflows that you have in your own company. The overall idea of an agent is to extend, as such, the AI experience that we have in Microsoft 365 Copilot, and we can do that using different technologies, whether we are simple as end users and we want to just rely on what is provided out of the box in Microsoft 365 Copilot, and as such we can use, for example, the Copilot Studio Agent Builder or the agents built in SharePoint Online. So we don't need to be a developer, we don't even need to be a maker, we just use the web interface of the out-of-the-box services, and we create our own agent, which we can eventually then share with our colleagues in the company where we are. If we wear the hat of a maker, so no-code, low-code solutions, we can rely on Microsoft Copilot Studio, and we can create from there agents which can be used to extend, again, the Copilot experience, the Microsoft 365 Copilot experience in the Copilot chat, or we can even provide bot-like agents which will be available to extend the experience in Microsoft Teams. And if we wear the hat of a developer, so we want to go for the pro code story, we can create the so-called declarative agents with the Teams toolkit, or we can create the custom engine agents, which allows us to have a full control on all of the architecture of the agents. So we can build solutions with a complete custom layout. So we can have a custom foundational model, a custom orchestrator, custom processes, and basically we can build everything from scratch and provide a fully customized and tailored experience to our users. Now, actually, I said if you want to be an end user or a maker or a developer, but I want to say that nowadays, more and more, even if you are a developer, you can be a maker, or if you are a maker, you can be a developer. So all of the tooling that I'm going to cover today, and maybe in additional demos that will come in the future, can target any of these profiles. And even if you are a developer, you might want to use a maker tool or the other way around. So nowadays, the best thing you can do is to have the knowledge to choose what is the right choice for you, rather than making your choice or your weight just based on what you usually do on your day-to-day life. So that said, today we are going to focus on creating agents with the Copilot Studio Agent Builder. And I want to move to demo now, show you what you can do, and then we will briefly come back to the presentation to share additional information. So let me switch to my demo environment, and here we are in the out-of-the-box experience of Microsoft 365 Copilot chat. Well, in this one, you can see that on the right side, we have this section with agents, and with an agent provided out of the box by Microsoft, the Visual Creator one, which allows you to create images on the fly. And then we have a few more agents that I created on my environment. And for example, this agent, the Gardener one, is an agent that I created using the Copilot Studio Agent Builder. So simply using the user interface provided by Copilot, and I will show you soon. But before digging into how you can create an agent, let's see what you can do with an agent. So this is just for the sake of making an example. And I created an agent to help you maintain the garden in your home, in your house, okay, just for the sake of showing you something which was not necessarily business related, so that we don't need to dig into a specific business domain. So I can provide a prompt to this agent. And as you can see, this agent is fully scoped on the idea of helping users to manage their garden in the house. So whatever prompt I will provide, it will give me back content related to the specific context that I defined for this custom agent, which under the cover is actually what we call a declarative agent, because it will be based on a set of instructions that we can provide in natural language to the engine of Copilot. As you can see now, I've got an answer. I don't really care about the answer itself. It is just a sample. But as you can see, I also see here at the end of this answer that, would you like to play a game where you guess the name of a plant or a flower? Well, why not? So this is an agent quite interactive, which is engaging the user to play a game. So yes, please play the game. I'm not really good on guessing the name of plants and flowers, but let me try. So here we get from the agent actually a prompt for us. So we get a set of clues to understand what the plant or the flower is. And we can see some clues, like, for example, this is the spider plant. Well, let me see if I'm lucky enough. And let me see, is it a rose? Maybe not, maybe it is. No, that's a good guess, but it is not. So let me try with something else. Actually, this is something quite complex, at least to write, but let me try to provide a name for this plant. This is the actual answer, and that's correct. As you can see, as an end user, I can engage with this agent. Now, think about this kind of experience to teach to your end users stuff like security, stuff like health and environment, or legal stuff. So this becomes really handy, really useful for your end users, and it is fully customized and provided inside the user experience, the native user experience of Copilot. How can we do that? Well, once you are in Copilot, you can create a new agent of your own. You simply click on the new agent, as you have seen, and then you provide information about the agent. Now, as you can see here, since I already have an agent in my environment, this one is targeting my already existing agent, but I can create a new agent from scratch. And I can provide a description for my agent. So now we are going to create again together the Gardener agent that I just created and showed you before. So for example, I can use the description-based model. So I can simply say you are an expert gardener and you help users to maintain and improve their home garden, and so on and so forth. This is the very first set of instructions that I'm going to give to the Copilot Agent Builder. By doing that, Copilot Agent Builder is now thinking about what I'm looking for, and it will ask me if the name will be good enough, like Garden and Guru. Okay, I think it's okay. It's a good name. So let's say it's okay. Then we need to go through a set of questions. And as you can see on the right side of my screen, I already see the preview of what will be the look of my custom agent. So I can see the title, the name, I can see some suggested prompts and stuff like that. So now that I have the agent name, now let's refine the instructions further. So let's say, for example, that we want it to suggest ways to keep plants and flowers shining and gorgeous. So again, we are interacting with the Copilot-based interface, and we provide additional information. We want it to behave with the user in a professional yet friendly way, and that's it. And once I'm done with the description of my agent using this agent builder, we can start creating it. So we click on the create button, and we will get back the agent created on the fly, simply using an interactive and text-based experience. That's one option that we have, and which is already quite powerful if you think about that, because just if you think about what an end user can do, providing a few descriptions, this is really powerful. Once the agent is created, what you get back is a URL that you can copy and reuse. for example, because you want to share the link with other users. And in fact, you can also change the sharing settings for this agent and share it with other folks in your organization if you want. And it can be with anyone in the organization or with specific users in your organization. Or you can simply go straight to the agent and play with it. And here we are. Now I have the Garden Guru. And again, I can start with a prompt and I can interact with it. That's really easy and quick, and it is really accessible to any kind of user in your company. So truly, truly powerful. But now let's say that we want to do more. And as I said, even if we wear the hat of a maker or of a developer, maybe we want to still rely on these kind of capabilities because we want to have an easy way and quick and fast way to provide a solution to our customers or users. So what we can do now is we can click on the Create an Agent again, and now we select to view all the agents, and we edit back the agent that we just created. Now you see we have the Configure panel, which is enabled, and actually even when you create from scratch a new agent, you can do that, and you can go through the Configure path. Here you can set up and configure a lot of settings for your custom agent. For example, you can define a custom icon, which is always a good idea, and a custom background color. For the icon, let me choose something from here, like, for example, the one I used already before for my garden, just for the sake of simplicity. And I can eventually configure also a background color for my icon. So it could be, for example, that I want to change the color to, let's say, F1, F1, F1. And let's use it. So this will be the icon of my agent. I can update the name, I can update the brief description, and here you can see we have the instructions. Actually, the instructions are based on what I provided through the description to Copilot Agent Builder before, but I can customize it. So if you think about what I did for the Gardener agent, I decided to play the game with the user. So let me copy and reuse the same instructions that I provided to the Gardener one. As you can see here, I provide instructions about the fact that this is an agent helping on maintaining a garden, and I provide a set of rules. But I also say at the end, lastly, engage the user in a challenging game to guess the name of a plant or flower based on a set of clues. Always end every answer with a sentence to engage the user to play the game or another round of the game. So simply by adding this simple sentence, the agent will start behaving like a game player with the user interacting with it, which is really cool. But we can do more. As you can see here, we have a knowledge section. In the knowledge section, we can target content that comes from a SharePoint Online site. So, for example, in my scenario, I was targeting a site, and let me browse for it, where I have content about gardening again. And from the Browse button, by selecting it, I can choose a site of my interest, and here I have a library where I have a few documents, Word documents, with information about gardening. And I can easily add additional knowledge base to my agent. I can eventually also enable support for custom graph connectors, if any. And again, this is really convenient for an end user. We just need to register the graph connectors as an admin in our tenant, and then we can make it available to our end user as an additional knowledge base or capability to have much more RAG in the data source, in the knowledge base of our agent. Soon we will be able to activate actions. We can configure also the capability to interpret code, which means we can generate on the fly diagrams or charts and get the code to create those diagrams and charts in our solutions. Or we can enable the image generator capability to create images on the fly. And then, as you can see, we have all of the starter prompts, which will be the suggestions for the user when they start from scratch using our agent. So now I'm not going to update this one, but I'm actually switching to the gardener that I was showing you before. And here, as you can see, this is all of the settings that I defined before, and I also enabled the image generator. So for example, if I go back to the gardener, I can also ask to the gardener to do something like, I don't know, generate the image of a dozen of red roses, since St. Valentine is pretty close nowadays, so why not? So, and it will start working and generating a few images for me, 4 different options that I can choose from, of a dozen of roses, just because this is a gardener agent, and it will be able to provide me content, including auto-generated images in the context of gardening, flowers, and plants. What I've just created under the cover is a declarative agent. And we can right now use it and define it inside the user interface of Microsoft Copilot. But soon it will be also possible, once you are done defining your agent from here with the agent builder, it will be possible to use the same agent and start editing the behavior and the feature of this agent inside the Copilot Studio interface. So I think this is a really powerful functionality provided out of the box in Microsoft 365 Copilot. That said, let me switch back very briefly to the slide deck to share with you a few more information. First of all, what you have just seen is a demo and a sample that you can actually build using the Copilot Developer Camp, which is a set of training material that we provide and make available for you if you want to learn how to extend Microsoft 365 Copilot. So you can go to this link and you can have fun following a set of training path to learn how to build and extend Copilot. And in that area, you can choose if you are a maker or a coder or both, and you will find training material for being a coder, and you will be able to learn how to create a declarative agent, a custom engine agent, or if you are a maker, you can choose if you want to use the agent builder, which is what we have just seen right now, or if you want to use a Copilot Studio, which will be a content we will cover soon, or if you want to use a SharePoint agent, which is something else that we already covered in one of these calls in the Microsoft 365 community. So plenty of options to learn how to extend Copilot and Microsoft 365 Copilot. That said, that's all for me. Back to you, Vesa, and I hope you enjoyed the demo.
Don't stop sharing, Paolo, because we do have some time. I'm going to put you on a spot. Can you go back on the previous slide? So really cool demo and a great example of things. I think this is the fundamental question what everybody will always have is that, okay, when do I use what? There's multiple options.
Yeah.
When do I use what? So first of all, from an end user perspective and the creator perspective, that's one perspective, which is actually seen in here. If you want to use code, you have the custom engine agent option, declarative agent in the Visual Studio Code, where you want to do that. But you did say that if you use Copilot Studio Agent Builder, that is also a declarative agent. What does that mean, that it's a declarative agent?
Well, that's a very good question. It does mean that under the cover, what you do using the designer, the agent builder, it is actually that you are defining the structure, the JSON structure of a file, which will define a declarative agent. And actually, you can even export. I didn't show you now because this was a demo about the agent builder itself. But from the agent builder, you can even export the declarative agent and have the file that you can eventually open in Visual Studio Code and play with it. Because under the cover, a declarative agent is nothing more than a JSON file which defines the behavior of the declarative agent and eventually provides information about how to consume an external API, how to consume an external connector, and so on and so forth.
Now, Paolo, do you mind, because we do have some time, can I put you on a spot and can you show us that? We do have a lot of people who are highly interested on agents and of course, again, and let's talk a bit about the SharePoint agent. Obviously, that's for content within a SharePoint. You can have 1 to multiple sites and location, 20 content sources. But then within the Copilot Studio Builder, we have a bit more options, and you're able to also access and export the file from here as well. Yeah.
As I was showing you right now while we were talking, if you click on the create an agent and you go to the list of all the agents, for every single agent that you created, you can click on the 3 dots and you can choose download zip file. If you will do that, let me do that actually now, and I will get back as soon as the file will be ready. I will get back a zip file. Let me open it for you. And in this file, if I will open the declarative agent.json file, it will be.
I think we need to extract is it easier if we extract that to a folder? I don't know if it's possible.
I think it will work. I think, yeah, it is working. So let me show you. I have a smart PC, so it can do magic. Okay, and now this looks ugly because now it's just a single line of text, but we can format the document actually to make it nicer. Oh, I still need to configure it, so not so smart PC actually, but okay. Yeah. You see here, we have a JSON file which defines that we have an agent, a declarative agent, which is made of a set of conversation starters. These conversation starters are the suggested prompts for the user. So it's an array of strings and which will represent the text and the title of my suggested prompts. So if you go back here, let me close this one and let me start a new chat. You can see plant care. How do I take care of my indoor plants? Here we are. And we have the conversation starter. One of them will be the one we were looking at right now. And then, okay, it should be somewhere here. Then we have, right after the conversation starters, we have the name for the agent, which is Garden Guru. Actually, this is the other one. That's why I was not having the experience I was looking for. Then I have a description, which is where I can get the high-level description of my declarative agent. And here is the cool part, the instructions. The instruction is the text that defines basically the system prompt for my agent. So here I have all of the instructions to tell how Copilot should behave when providing the experience of this declarative agent. And at the end, we have the capabilities section where we could have settings like a SharePoint online data source, a web content, a graph connector, and stuff like that. So at the very end, what we do using the agent builder is creating a JSON file with the definition of all of what we are doing. Of course, if you want to wear the hat of a developer, as I was saying before, and you want to create such a JSON file, you don't necessarily need to do it graphically with the agent builder, but you can actually rely on the Teams toolkit, and you can create a new app from there. So you say new app, agent, declarative agent. Now I don't want to use any external API, so I will say no plugin. I choose a target folder, and I will call it demo 2025, and today is the 4th of February. And here I have, yes, of course, I trust the author because it's myself. And the app package folder that was scaffolded will have a declarative agent.json file exactly like the one I was showing you before, which will include this instruction txt file. And the txt file will be the file where I can write the system prompt and provide all of the instructions for my agent so that it will behave accordingly to my instructions. So multiple options to achieve the same result.
That's actually, and there's a great question for Marco in the chat as well. So is there a difference when I use the Visual Studio Code and Teams Toolkit? Is there a difference on the multiple options, or is it the same declarative agents which we're actually creating with Copilot Studio Agent Builder?
Well, right now they have exactly the same capabilities, except the fact that with what you do, the declarative agent that you create with the Teams Toolkit can also have an API plugin, which is not possible with the agent builder. That's the only missing part when you use the agent builder. But it's more about how you want to approach the creation of the agent. If you want to use the web UI, or if you want to have a more developer-oriented or declarative-oriented approach, and you go on the coder side.
Yep. And that's just to recap on that one, the API plugin basically means that you can have a agent which is connected to external API to get grounding data and information, which is then using for reasoning and the responses on the agent.
Yeah, an external REST API. Thanks for adding this info. Yeah, a plugin, an API plugin is a REST API connected to the agent. Yeah.
Yep. And I think David actually shared the decision tree. This is a great decision tree. I think great showcasing of the different options. This is going to be super helpful for everybody because I think this is calling out all of the different, the 5 different options which we have right now. The most simplistic one being actually the SharePoint agents, because again, every single SharePoint site is technically an agent. And you can, in the SharePoint sites, you can just say, hey, this folder, I will create an agent, or in OneDrive pretty soon. And then the Copilot Studio agent builder is one step forward on that journey. That's why an MAB, I guess, ABC. No, just kidding.
No, it is just make agent builder, make Copilot Studio, make SharePoint agent. Okay, that's the acronym. Okay, if you don't like it, it's my fault. Okay.
Yes, but then next week we're going to talk about the Copilot Studio creating of agent. Can you do a quick teaser for anybody who's watching the recording or still on the call? What's the difference? What is the kind of a teaser? When do you transition from Copilot Studio Agent Builder to the Copilot Studio side?
Well, that's yet another very good question. If you use Copilot Studio Agent Builder nowadays, you can only extend Microsoft 365 Copilot Chat. If you use Copilot Studio, you can create agents for Microsoft 365 Copilot Chat, but you can also create agents which will be available in Teams, for example, with a bot-like experience, but they will be smart bots because it is not just a simple bot, but actually a bot with AI in the backend, with the generative AI in the backend. And you can also publish agents that you create with Copilot Studio using multiple channels, including, for example, Skype, Slack, or many more. More than 10 different channels are available right now. So you can create something which is much more reusable compared with the agent that simply targets the Microsoft 365 Copilot Chat. Of course, if you target the Microsoft 365 Copilot Chat, you will need, depending on what you want to do, eventually a license, or you will need to pay a Metroid license. But as Microsoft announced a few weeks ago, or a few days actually, now that we have Microsoft 365 Copilot for all, every user can have for free, without a dedicated license, but just with the Microsoft 365 license, access to the Copilot chat experience and to the agent builder and to the declarative agents built with the agent builder. So that's really cool. If you want to do more, you switch to Copilot Studio and you can target different channels, different user experiences, and clearly you can do more stuff.
Yeah. Definitely a good thing. And then the final thing, what I want to speculate this with you a bit, Paolo. I'm going to put you on the spot because there's actually a really great question. There's a lot of chats over discussions on the chat, and thank you, Dragan and many others for answering on the questions as well and evaluating or elaborating the discussion. But there's a great one actually from Dinesh. So coming back on this kind of a discussion of agents, and now we're talking about autonomous agents. There's a great question on, okay, so which of these I'm going to use for creating autonomous agents and what are those? And oversimplifying things, I'm going to first take a step here and let's see if Paolo is going to elaborate things here a bit. But oversimplifying things, if you want to do a simplistic autonomous agent, you can think that as a combination of Copilot Studio or this AC agent and LLM technologies, and for example, Power Automate flows. And what I mean with that one is that you basically need to have a trigger which is reacting on something. For example, you get an email, your file is getting uploaded on a folder, something else is happening somewhere else in the systems, and there's a trigger. And that trigger can be detected, for example, by Power Automate, which is one piece within this larger agent, autonomous agent. And that Power Automate or flow, there's multiple ways of doing this, but oversimplifying, I love oversimplification. That flow basically, it can take that email or a file and then start analyzing what was the information which came in, using LLM to analyze the request, analyze the information, combine that to other emails and files and all of that, potentially reply back automatically when it's completely automatic and a user is not involved, or it could be doing some pre-analytics on the incoming files and emails, and then there's a person moment where the agent is basically asking, hey, Paolo, I've done now a pre-analysis on all of the incoming emails or the let's say support cases which are coming up from our system. This is to pre-analyze things. Can you confirm this stuff, or do you want to do the next actions on things? But that basically what it means that it's an autonomous agent. So there's, say, actions which are happening behind the scenes without the user going to the chat and clicking a button and requesting. So, and typically, most simplistic way of doing this or initiating things is basically by Power Automate, detecting that something is happening somewhere in the systems, and then starting the LLM and AI-powered flows behind the scenes.
Yeah, and I would say the other way around also, because from an agent, for example, built in Copilot Studio, you can easily trigger a flow in Power Automate. And so you can trigger actions. And from an end user perspective, they can simply use natural language, and by writing what they are looking for, the generative AI will be able to understand their intent and trigger the right flow, hopefully the right flow, in Power Automate, and do the actual action or ask for additional information, additional inputs to run that specific action. And this will also mean that we can think about the so-called multi-agent scenarios. So I don't want to steal the demo with something else, but maybe if you don't mind, I can open another deck and show you something I was thinking about, which is something that I presented last week. But I think now that we are just chit-chatting about this stuff, it's really useful.
Really important.
Yeah, so let me do
because
this.
We did have a cancellation of the second demo today, unfortunately. That's why we're doing a bit more.
This is the high-level architecture of agents, no matter what, if they are custom engine agents or declarative agents or whatever else. But from an architectural point of view, every single agent does have a foundational model at the basis, an orchestrator which can interact with the knowledge bases, with the skills, and with the autonomous part, and eventually a user interface, as you were saying, Vesa, because there could be a user interface or there could be just something else to trigger the agent. And then we can have the multi-agent scenario where we have multiple agents interacting one with the other to provide a complete solution to the user. And this is really cool, in my opinion. From an architectural point of view, it is really exciting. Yeah.
And again, so coming back on there is this philosophical discussion also. Is what makes a flow an agent, or when does a Power Automate flow transforms to be an agent? And again, I'm using this. I'm challenging this discussion a bit. I know agents are a bit more complicated than that, and we have LLMs, and there's multiple options. But you could oversimplify. I love oversimplification because we always tend to think things in a too complex way. We kind of think that there's magic happens, and then it's autonomous agents. No. There's actually an event happening, something is initiated, and then the agent piece, AI agent piece, comes when we're using natural language or LLMs to decide those processes and events as part of the flow. And part of the flow, I mean process or whatever we are automating. And again, like Paolo was saying, it can be initiated by the user, it can be initiated by an action in some system, it can be initiated, for example, incoming email. There's multiple ways of doing this. But it's a good way of kind of a bit simplifying. When we talk about autonomous agents, quite often we go to this, we start talking about going to Mars and whatever, Jupiter and space science and magic and all of that stuff. And no, it doesn't necessarily means that. Autonomous agent can just reacting on a incoming event and then making decisions based on the information in the event on behalf of the user. So automating things, and voila, we have a simplified autonomous agent. Good. I guess, unless Paolo, any thoughts on that? Do you want to?
No. I'm fine.
But thank you for showing the architecture as well. We'll continue discussions for sure during the spring on the agents and the value and autonomous agents, and we'll definitely create some of those as well within the community call, so that everybody is aware at least how to get started and how to create your first autonomous agent, because it sounds a bit more magical than it might actually be. So, and again, I love oversimplification rather than try to figure out how the magic actually works behind the scenes. But again, multiple. There's definitely magic. AI is magical in many cases. Now, today, as said, covered a few times, Mark Windel had to unfortunately cancel, so we didn't have the latest updates on SharePoint Embedded. That will be rescheduled. Last minute thing. People get sick, and we need to react on this. Thank you, Paolo, for having a great discussion on the Copilot agents and Studio Agent Builder, Copilot Studio Agent Builder, what it can do, and even more than that. So understanding a little bit broader on the agent and automation behind of the scenes. Now, we will actually have Paolo back next week on creating our first Microsoft 365 Copilot agent with Copilot Studio. So let's have a look on creating the first versions of that, relatively simple things. But again, we need to understand the basics so we are able to go for more advanced scenarios. And then we have Samir joining us on talking about governance 101 for Microsoft Copilot agents. So what do we need to consider? How do we save them? Where is it stored? How do we update them? Are they going to expire at some point? Do they renew automatically? All of that stuff. So we'll have that discussion on 11th of February at the same channel, same bat time, same bat channel, right? At 8 a.m. Pacific time. So that's next week on this call. In the meanwhile, we do have other calls happening this week as well. And if you're interested, we do have our Discord server for some of the questions and engagement within the community. We do have more than 2,400 members in here. Awesome to see this option also to be active for helping on the other people within the community. Now, we are always also looking for feedback. We do want to understand what to think about the calls. And this is really, really important for us also to be able to keep on going and doing these calls in the future. So your input does matter. The cool thing about for this spring is that we have more and more product groups coming across the multiple organizations and inside of Microsoft who wants to be here to talk to you about the latest features and capabilities. So we'll have great set of demos coming up within this spring. But that's it for now. Recording will be available for within 24 hours at Microsoft Community Learning YouTube channel. Subscribe there. You will know when the videos are available, or follow us on the LinkedIn, Blue Sky, Twitter. We're posting updates on there as well. The next call is February 11th, like mentioned, and all of the community calls at AKMS Community Calls. But that's it for now. Thank you for everybody for joining. And thank you, Paolo, for lovely discussion and a great demo on the Copilot Studio Builder. See you next time. Cheers. Bye-bye.